Welcome, Nic Nacks Corner. Today, I'm going to do Q&A. I sent out the call for questions on my Discord, and my people did not fail. They came back with all kinds of questions. So, without further ado, let's get into it. If you could make any book required reading in schools, what would it be? And my answer to that is definitely The Hobbit. I think that if it's not required reading, it should be. It is the foundation of modern fantasy as it is. And also, it's one of just a great start to an epic tale that you can introduce young people into and hopefully drive them into the rest of the story of The Lord of the Rings, which is one of the best stories ever told. And that's not even just from a standpoint of me. It's from a critical standpoint. The Lord of the Rings is one of the best stories ever told. And I think The Hobbit is a great introduction and a great way to start people in. It's also an amazing way to start getting people used to multiple characters in a story. The complexity of that, because you want to be able to showcase a wider world with a lot of characters. And I think it's a great place to start. Do you find books more enjoyable on your first read-through or on your reread? I find most books to be the most enjoyable on the first read-through because it's brand new and it's very catching and I love it. However, in saying that, I have reread a bunch of different books, and The Lord of the Rings, Song of Ice and Fire, things like those, when you reread them, there's a lot of things you could pick up on that you miss the first few times around. So, and I imagine Wheel of Time, from what I hear, has excellent reread potential. So, there is that. Favorite time of day to read? Any time of day. Any time of day is a good time of day to read. Just pick up a book, start reading. It's great. Anytime. Don't let anyone tell you there's a certain time you gotta do it. Just do it. Now that you've had your channel for a while, how has it affected your reading? Well, I read a lot more. I read at a faster pace now, and it has made me... So the whole goal behind it, which I think is going to be a question that comes up later, why I created the channel, it was to make myself read more. I wanted to be able to make myself do more books. I want to have a reason to do it, something that would keep me engaged. And it is wildly successful so far. And how has it affected my reading? I made a goal of 35 books to read this year in 2020 because that's how many I read last year. Actually, I think I read less than that last year. And I'm at 37 books so far, and it's the middle of July. End of July almost. But you know what I mean? Like, it has upped my game of reading. And it was what I needed. Who is a new auto-buy author of a recent read? I'm going to say R.F. Kuang, if she continues to make fantasy books, because I really love the Poppy War and the Dragon Republic. I'm very excited for the Burning God. I think I'll probably pick up any of her books that she writes because I do love her writing style. So I'm going to pick her for that choice. Do you buy or borrow books from the library? I buy books. I used to borrow books, and then I ended up owing them like 30 or 40 bucks for a single book one time because I was a slow reader at the time, and it made me just think to myself, well, I could have bought this book for half the price. And from then on out, started buying books, and I don't have any regrets. Remember the guy? No regrets. What's the best, worst thing about working in a bookstore? The best thing about working in a bookstore is seeing all the new books come in. That is amazing. People are like, there are people there, including myself, who are like, I want to open these boxes of books up and receive them because I want to see what's inside the boxes. It's like a little Christmas every day. And that's what I love about that, even though you're not buying them. However, I put some aside for myself that I do end up buying when that happens. And the worst thing is, really the only worst thing about working in a bookstore is the odd customer who thinks they're holier than thou. And that's really about it. Aside from that, I don't have any negative reasons for working in a bookstore. It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's a nice, relaxed atmosphere. You get a lot of stuff done. There's, you could sift through the books, kind of take a look, see what's going on. It's just a wonderful experience. I love it. What made you want to start your YouTube channel? Well, I kind of touched on this already, where I really wanted something to keep me engaged with reading, and it has worked. So if you're thinking about starting a channel, just remember, I started this channel for myself, and it's still for myself. If it wasn't for me, I wouldn't keep doing it. I'm now also doing it for you guys as well. That's why I take your guys' thoughts and opinions into consideration when I do stuff. But ultimately, if you're going to start a channel, do it for yourself. Start it for yourself to make yourself read more, if that is something that you are having a hard time with. That is what it made me do, is it has made me want to read more. It has made me work harder on reading more. It has made me put in the hours, the time, because doing this channel isn't just making a 5 to 10 minute long video for you guys. It's also putting in the hours of reading the books. Sometimes the books are great and sometimes they aren't. And that's just about it. It's really all about putting in the time. And this channel has made it easier for me to do that, because it has made me feel accomplished when I'm doing stuff like that. Do you read multiple books at once? I used to. And then I found myself falling behind on this book or that book, and then I'd have to go and catch up on it. And, at the time, I was really enjoying reading multiple books, because it was like watching multiple TV shows. You put it down, watch something else, and that was great. But I found that my reading speed suffered. So if I focus on a single book, I get it done, and then I pick up a new book. So that's the way I like to read right now. What's your favorite non-fantasy genre? I'm going to say horror. Because I really love Stephen King, but I've also been picking up a lot of non-Stephen King horror books, because I want to get into it more. I want to read more about it, and I want to enjoy it. So I would say horror is my favorite. Thriller and mystery would be a close second for it. I do enjoy sci-fi, but I kind of lump sci-fi in with fantasy, because it's sort of fantasy, just a little different. Come at me. How do you plan out your videos? Well, I have this book here, Plans for Dominating the World, where I write out my ideas of what I would like, my notes, and then I sit down and I go off the cuff with my little notes, because I personally, I tried the scripted thing, I worked it out, I did it for a bunch of YouTube, a bunch of videos. You go back and find them and watch them, and you'll see that I'm not as natural of a speaker, that I feel more robotic to listen to. And that's because I was going off script a lot, and if I don't have to go off script, I can usually wing it pretty decently. I'm not going to say I'm great at it, but it works a lot better. So this is how I do it. How do I become an awesome wizarding booktuber like yourself? Well, JJ, first off, you need to go to Canadian Tire and buy yourself a wizarding robe. Secondly, you need to do some cheap, corny magic tricks to your 5-year-old children and make them believe that magic is real. Like, you gotta do the coin behind the ear trick, pull a coin out, that sort of thing. You gotta be able to, tell them and make them believe that you're only magic when no one's looking. That's the important part. And then you gotta sit down and read a lot of books and make YouTube videos while you wear the robe, okay? That's how you become a wizarding booktuber, okay? What is the most surprising book you've read this year? I'm going to say the one that blew me away this year has been The Poppy War. I heard it was good. I was expecting it to be good, and it just blew me away. It had everything in it that I love about fantasy. I love gods and pantheons. I love fire magic. It took me out of a European world set and into an Asian world set, more specifically Chinese, and it was something I loved and something I adore. So it was fantastic. Exactly what I wanted. Definitely most surprising. Do you have a new favorite author? I don't have any specific author who is a new favorite. I am in the middle of the second book of Dune and am really enjoying Frank Herbert's voice. He's doing really great. I haven't really found anyone else yet. I'm going to get to Faithful and the Fallen this year, and that will probably change up that question a little bit more because I've heard great things. And what got you into reading? Well, there's a couple things that got me into reading. Where shall we start? It was a long time ago. My father came home from the war. I'm just joking. Oh, no. So basically what happened was I've always been a little bit of a reader. I've just always had a hard time finishing books. Growing up, we lived across from the library, spent a lot of time going over there, picking up books, and I would read a quarter to half of the books and not finish them. And that was normal for me. I never finished a book until I finished The Lord of the Rings. Once I finished The Lord of the Rings, I tried other books, and it didn't go well. I still couldn't finish books, so I just reread Lord of the Rings over and over again. And then as an adult, I kind of decided I wanted to pick up reading again because I missed it. And I really enjoyed reading The Lord of the Rings, and so I wanted something a little different. And I've always heard Catcher in the Rye is one of the best books ever written. So I picked up Catcher in the Rye and I read it. I really enjoyed it. Best book ever written? Don't know if I could say that. But was it really good? Most certainly. And I enjoyed it very, very much. And after that, I believe I read The Road. And then I got into like a huge reading spree and I read a ton of books. A bunch of Chuck Palahniuk at the time. I think Flight, Choke, Snuff, Fight Club, things like that. I read Invisible Monsters and enjoyed him for a little bit, but then I just kind of didn't fall in love with his writing anymore after a while. And then I kind of, it was hit and miss for a long time, and about a year ago I said to myself, I really want to get into reading like hardcore again. And I decided to start this channel and start reading more. And it has been an amazing adventure. In fact, it is a lifestyle now that I enjoy very much. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming to my Q&A today. Thank you to everyone on my Discord for asking the questions. My link to Discord's down below, so if you would like to come over and join the Discord channel and participate, I am always holding polls and asking questions and trying to connect with all of you to figure out what we can best do for all of our information. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming to the corner, and you take care.